Thank you for joining my lecture. Today, I talk about Hong Kong's prosperity and frustration. Hong Kong is located in the southern part of China. Hong Kong consists of Hong Kong Island, Kowloon Peninsula, Lantau Island, and New Territories. In the 19th century, the custom of drinking tea became widespread in Britain. At the time, Britain was importing large quantities of tea from China. It was a large trade deficit for Britain. So, Britain tried to cover the trade deficit by selling opium to China through India. The trade shown in the figure is called triangular trade. In China, the number of opium addicts increased and it became a serious social problem. A king official, Jin Zefu, confiscated and discarded the opium that British merchants had. In 1840, the British levied and launched the Opium War. King Udun sailing ships were no match for the steam-powered iron British ships that had undergone the Industrial Revolution. In 1842, the Nanjing Treaty was signed and the king ceded Hong Kong Island to the British. In 1860, the Kowloon Peninsula was ceded to Britain. Hong Kong, which was only a small village, became a British colony and later flourished as a center of trade and finance in Asia. Japan occupied Hong Kong from 1941 to 1945 during World War II. After World War II, Hong Kong was not returned to the Republic of China and remained a British territory. The Chinese Communist Party, which won the Chinese Civil War, proclaimed the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949. Mao Zedong's Great Leap Forward failed, and many people starved to death. During the Cultural Revolution, many Chinese Communist Party officials and intellectuals were persecuted. Many people who disliked the Chinese Communist Party's control fled from mainland China to Hong Kong as refugees. In particular, the failure of the Great Leap Forward in the 1960s and the subsequent Cultural Revolution caused many people to flee from mainland China to Hong Kong. Refugees from mainland China fled to the Kowloon port, which was beyond the reach of the Hong Kong government. Drug trafficking, gambling, and prostitution took place inside a labyrinthine interior beyond the reach of the Hong Kong government. Within the Kowloon fort, doctors who did not have Hong Kong medical licenses but had Chinese medical licenses established hospitals. In addition, various factories were built. Hong Kong flourished as a trade and financial center of Asia. Some people succeeded and made a fortune in free Hong Kong. Li Ka-shing, who made a fortune in the real estate business from poverty. Jimmy Lai, also known as Lai Chi-ying, escaped from poverty in China to Hong Kong and founded an apparel company and made a fortune. He later launched the Apple Daily. In the movie industry, Bruce Lee played an active role in action movies. After Bruce Lee's death, The action movie Jackie Chan was active and made its way into Hollywood. A rising China and a declining Britain. In 1984, in the Sino-British joint statement, Britain pledged to return Hong Kong to China on July 1, 1997. China also said that Hong Kong's capitalist system would be maintained for 50 years on the basis of one country, two systems. The exchange of ratified notes took place at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing between British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and Chinese State Council Premier Zhao Jiang. In 1985, students staged a demonstration in Beijing calling for democracy. The People's Liberation Army of China was deployed to suppress students who are demonstrating for democracy. This is the so-called Tiananmen Square massacre. The people of Hong Kong, which was to be returned to China, supported the pro-democracy movement in Tiananmen Square and protested the Chinese Communist Party's repression. On July 1, 1997, sovereignty over Hong Kong passed from Great Britain to China. Many Hong Kongers who dislike the rule of the Chinese Communist Party have fled to Vancouver, Canada, Sydney, Australia, and Melbourne. In 2012, Xi Jinping, who became the head of the Chinese Communist Party, became increasingly dictatorial. In 2019, a bill to amend the extradition bill to include extradition to mainland China was enacted over the backdrop of opposition from many people. The National People's Congress adopted a decision on patriotic rule of Hong Kong to overhaul Hong Kong's electoral system, which introduced a mechanism for reviewing candidates by a qualification committee and excluding pro-democracy parties from elections in Hong Kong's parliament. In 2020, it enacted the Hong Kong National Security Law and began arresting and imprisoning Hong Kong's pro-democracy activists. Founded by Jimmy Lai in 1995, the Apple Daily continued to criticize China's leaders and the Chinese Communist Party. In 2020, Jimmy Lai was arrested by Hong Kong police for participating in an illegal assembly. In 2021, the Apple Daily was discontinued. There are no longer any public critics or demonstrators of the Chinese Communist Party in Hong Kong. The world has learned that democracy is fragile. Where will Hong Kong, which has enjoyed freedom and prosperity, go in the future? Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel to maintain these educational activities. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.